Okay, welcome to your lecture about thermoregulation. So let's watch this video first.
All structures in the body function together to maintain homeostasis, a process by which the body maintains its internal environment in response to the external environment. Examples of how the body maintains homeostasis include metabolism of drugs and toxins in the liver, regulation of water and solutes in the blood by the kidneys, regulation of blood glucose by the pancreas. Another homeostatic process, thermoregulation, is the maintenance of normal body temperature. If the body's skin or core temperature drops, thermoreceptors in the skin or internal organs send impulses to the hypothalamus, which acts as the body's thermostat. The hypothalamus responds through the sympathetic nervous system by constricting blood vessels in the skin. Vasoconstriction diverts blood away from the skin and extremities to the warmer interior of the body to prevent further loss of heat to the surroundings and prevent the body's core temperature from dropping further. Erector pili muscles contract, causing piloerections, in which hair follicles stand up in an attempt to trap warm air next to the skin. A continued drop in temperature prompts the hypothalamus to send impulses that elicit a shivering reflex in skeletal muscles, generating additional heat to increase body temperature. If the body's skin or core temperature increases, thermoreceptors in the skin or internal organs prompt the hypothalamus to halt sympathetic stimulation of blood vessels in the skin. The vessels dilate and allow warm blood to distribute heat through the skin. Erector pili muscles relax and hair follicles lie flat against the skin. Sweat glands produce sweat, allowing heat loss through evaporation. The stimulus or decrease in body temperature causes the brain to act as a thermostat and dissipate heat throughout the body. Once normal temperature is reached, the thermostat shuts off. These examples of the body's response to counteract stimuli are called negative feedback loops, which allows the body to maintain homeostasis. All
Fever, clinically known as pyrexia, is an abnormal increase in body temperature, usually due to an illness. Commonly thought as an undesirable side effect of diseases, fever is actually an effective way the body uses to fight infections. Patients usually recover faster when they allow fever to run its course, rather than suppressing it with fever-reducing medications. This is because a higher temperature slows down the growth of most pathogens, as well as boosts the effectiveness of the body's immune response. It also increases metabolic rates and thereby accelerating tissue repair. Normally, the hypothalamus keeps the body's temperature within a narrow range, around 37 degrees Celsius, or 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. The hypothalamus acts like a thermostat. It receives inputs from heat and cold receptors throughout the body and activates heating or cooling accordingly. When the body is too hot, the hypothalamus sends instructions for it to cool down, for example, by producing sweat. On the other hand, when temperature drops, the hypothalamus directs the body to preserve and produce heat, mainly via the release of norepinephrine. Norepinephrine increases heat production in brown adipose tissue and induces vasoconstriction to reduce heat loss. In addition, acetylcholine stimulates the muscles to shiver, converting stored chemical energy into heat. Fever is part of the inflammatory response. When immune cells detect the presence of a pathogen, for example, upon binding to a component of bacterial cell walls, they produce inflammatory cytokines. Some of these cytokines are fever inducers or pyrogenic. Pyrogenic cytokines act within the hypothalamus to induce the synthesis of prostaglandin E2, PGE2, the major fever inducer. PGE2 acts on thermoregulatory neurons of the hypothalamus to raise the body's temperature set point. In other words, PGE2 tricks the hypothalamus into thinking that the body is cold, while in fact the temperature did not change. In response, the hypothalamus instructs the body to actively produce heat to raise body temperature above normal. Fever-reducing medications, such as aspirin and ibuprofen, work by suppressing PGE2 synthesis. Once infection is cleared, pyrogens are no longer produced and the hypothalamic thermostat is set back to normal temperature. Cooling mechanisms such as sweating and vasodilation are activated to cool the body down. While fever is usually beneficial and need not be treated, precautions should be taken to prevent body temperature from running too high, which may cause confusion, seizures, and irreversible damage to the brain. Finally, it is important to differentiate between fever and hyperthermia. The latter is often caused by extended exposures to extreme heat or heat stroke. Unlike fever, the body's temperature set point in hyperthermia is unchanged, and the body does not produce the extra heat. Its cooling system is simply exhausted and fails to compensate for the excessive external heating. Hyperthermia is always harmful and must be treated with various cooling methods. Fever-reducing medications have no effect on hyperthermia, as pyrogens are not involved.
Normal body function requires a relatively constant body temperature, which is regulated by the body's thermostat, a region of the brain called the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus generates a temperature set point for the body and appears to be the major site for the integration of temperature information. When the body's temperature is warmer than the set point, the hypothalamus sends instructions to various organs to cool the body down. When the body gets too cool, the hypothalamus commands the body to do the opposite and perform a warming response. Blood vessels are some of the targets under the control of the hypothalamus. For example, when the body is cooler than its set point, the hypothalamus triggers blood vessels in the skin to constrict. The constriction prevents blood from circulating close to the body's surface and thereby reduces heat loss to the environment. When the body is too cool, the hypothalamus also stimulates shivering. The repeated contractions of muscle fibers generate heat in the body. The hypothalamus controls an endocrine organ called the thyroid gland. When the body is exposed to cold for a prolonged period of time, the hypothalamus triggers this gland to release hormones that in turn trigger cells of the body to increase their metabolic rates. A higher metabolic rate results in a greater production of body heat. When the body gets too warm, the hypothalamus triggers cooling responses. These responses include dilating blood vessels near the body's surface, increasing perspiration for evaporative cooling, and accelerating the rate of breathing, which also cools the body. We can describe these actions of the hypothalamus in a diagram. The hypothalamus receives temperature information from receptors in the skin, in the viscera, and in the hypothalamus itself. With this information, the hypothalamus compares the body's temperature to its set point. Differences between the actual body temperature and the set point constitute error signals. The hypothalamus operates through a negative feedback loop. For example, if the body is too cool, the hypothalamus triggers a warming response. In a negative feedback loop, the response counteracts rather than enhances the deviation from the set point and returns the body's temperature to its set point. A key sensor for temperature information appears to be the hypothalamus itself, although the hypothalamus also integrates information from other sensors in the body. An experiment on a ground squirrel in which the hypothalamus was either warmed or cooled provides evidence that the hypothalamus acts as a temperature sensor. When the hypothalamus was cooled, the animal increased its metabolic rate and thereby elevated its body temperature. In contrast, when the hypothalamus was heated, the squirrel's body temperature dropped. This experiment demonstrates that the hypothalamus acts as a temperature sensor in addition to being the body's thermostat.
Okay.
Normal body function requires a
Okay, so let's talk about your normal body temperature. Listen well. This is your last facial lecture. So, konting tiis na lang. Anyway, normal body temp. So first, let's talk about the body core. Core meaning sa loob, internal. Body core temperature. This refers to the temp of the deep tissues of the body. Kaloob-looban mo, okay? This should remain very constant within 37 plus or minus 0.6 degrees Celsius. Okay? Except na lang pag nilalagnat ka. Mga videos kanina, magkukuha ko ng ano doon, exam questions. Which one is the thermostat? Is it the hypothalamus, thalamus, pineal gland? Mga ganun, okay? Ano ba? Fever, panood nyo yung fever kanina. Interleukins, prostaglandin, etc. Okay? Highlight. So, your body core temp should be within plus or minus 0.6 degrees. So, 37 plus 0.6 and 37 degrees Celsius minus 0.6. So, range siya. Okay? Skin temperature, sa balat mo, superficial, medyo paiba-iba yan. Okay? Depende kung mainit yung paligid mo, yung surroundings mo, or cold ang environment. This refers to the skin's ability to lose heat to the surroundings. Si skin ang nag-sacrifice. No? Naalala nyo, si lungs, kapag may hypoxia, si lungs nagbabasoconstrict. If scarce ang oxygen, which blood vessel in the body would vasoconstrict? Kasi usually kapag taghirap, wala kang oxygen, magbabasodilate ka. Uy, wala akong oxygen, sabi ni brain. O di magbabasodilate ako para, alam mo na, mas increase yung blood flow, so more chances of grabbing oxygen. Pero yung isang organ na nagsasacrifice during hypoxia, si lungs. Si skin, nagsasacrifice din yan. Pero pagdating naman sa temperature, regulation. Okay? So, normal core, vasoconstriction siya during hypoxia. Anyway, normal core temperature. So, it should be a range ha. Hindi specific point na dapat saktong 37 degrees para ma-consider ka as normal. Hindi ganun. Okay? So, when I give an example in your exam, 37.5. Normal ba yun o febrile na? Di normal pa rin. Okay? Plus or minus 0.6 nga eh. I won't ask about Fahrenheit, but when you go to US, etc., Fahrenheit sila doon. Okay? So, Celsius tayo. So, when you exercise, pag nag-gym ka, umiinit yung katawan mo, di ba? So, what will happen? Tataas yung body temperature. Kasi nga, mataas yung kinetic energy ng molecules mo sa blood, etc., etc. So, tataas yung body temperature mo. So, anong isipin ni hypothalamus? Tandaan nyo, Fisho, is all about studying yung function, di ba? And important dyan, nagpa-function yung organs for you to achieve homeostasis. Okay? Balance. So, pag mainit yung temperature sa katawan mo, paano mo pababain? Okay? Sino muna magsusumbong, sino mag-i-integrate, and sino magre-reply. Okay? Hypothalamus nga yung thermostat. So, varies with temperature extremes of the surroundings. Temperature regulatory mechanism is not perfect. Kaya nga, pag may infection, pag may lagnat ka, na-trick na si hypothalamus mo. Nagbago na yung set point. Okay? Especially kapag may pyrogens. We'll talk about it later. Strenuous exercise o nag-gym ka ng 3 hours. So, you're gonna produce excessive heat in the body. So, your temperature will rise temporarily. Saglit lang naman, no? Kahit nag-gym ka sa aircon, okay? Basta strenuous, iinit pa rin yung katawan mo and papawis as a form of mechanism to counteract yung heat. Body is exposed to extreme cold, temperature falls below 35.5. So, ingat pag aakyat kayo ng mga bundok. Tapos, gloomy yung weather, malamig. Na lang. For a while lang. Balancing heat production and heat loss. So, if you produce more heat, ang dami mong heat na produce, so, magbi-build up yung heat sa loob ng body mo and therefore, tataas yung temperature. Okay? Ano ngayon pag tumaas yung temperature? So, do everything to lower that. Because you have to achieve nga homeostasis or yung balance mo na 37 plus minus 0.6. Okay? Pag masyado ka namang wala na heat, lalamigin ka. Okay? So, do something to increase or to elevate your body temperature. Yung something na yun, pag-usapan natin later. Okay. Medyo boring yung topic, no? Thermoregulation. Important yan. Uso ngayon, di ba? Heat stroke. Heat production is a principal byproduct of metabolism. Tandaan, kapag kumakain tayo, di ba? Kumakain tayo, so we're harnessing chemical energy from food. Yung chemical energy na yan natatransform into various forms of energy. For instance, ATP, mechanical energy para mag-contract yung muscle mo. Other forms of energy will include your heat. Okay? So, natatransform by product. Pag minetabolize mo yung something, yung pagkain, 1% doon, mag-convert sa heat. Ayan. Factors that determine the rate of heat production or metabolic rate include the following: basal rate of metabolism ng cells mo, muscle activity mo, highlight nyo to, thyroxine, si T4, BMR, and yung mga catecholamines mo, SYMPA mode. And increased cell chemical activity and thermogenic effect of food. Tatanong ko ba yan? Yung thyroxine, baka. Okay. Heat loss naman. So, most of the heat produced in the body is from the deep organs, such as si BLH, brain, heart, and liver. Sila yung medyo, maraming ganap. So, maraming metabolism na nangyayari sa mga yan. So, more heat is produced. Okay? And, skeletal muscle mo during exercise. Pag nagko-contract ka, yung muscle mo, nagpo-produce din ng heat. Tapos, yung heat na yon, pwede bang itago lang sa loob? Hindi. You have to transfer it from your core, sa loob ng katawan mo. Pag sobrang init na yon, pag di mo ilabas, mag-overheat, di ba? I-transfer mo sa mababaw, sa skin. Okay? Sa skin. Si skin kasi nag-a-adjust eh. Tapos si skin na bahala para i-dissipate yung heat sa surroundings. Okay? Heat loss is determined by, first, how rapid heat is conducted. So, how rapidly heat can be conducted from the core to the skin. Gaano kabilis yung init sa utak, sa liver, sa heart, mapadala through the blood papunta sa skin. And how rapidly heat can be transferred from the skin to the surroundings. Gaano kakabilis magpawis. Okay? Ayan. The skin, the subcutaneous tissue, and especially the fat of the subcutaneous tissues act together as a heat insulator of the body. Okay, nilagyan ka ni Lord ng balat at ng taba dyan, covering, integumentary system mo, covering ng muscle, organs, etc. para may insulation ka. Insulator. Para pag sobrang init o sobrang lamig, medyo protected ka. Parang igloo. Ewan ko kung abutan yung igloo. Doon mo lalagay yung drink mo para malamig pag nag-picnic kayo. Okay. Fat is important because it conducts heat. Okay? Ano pa? Ang kinakonduct ng taba na heat ay 1/3 lang as readily as other tissues. Konti lang. Kunyari, 100 degrees to. 1/3 lang nun ang mapapasa sa loob. Kasi kung may taba ka, okay? When no blood is flowing from the heated internal organs to the skin, the insulating properties of the normal male body are about equal to 3/4 the insulating properties of a usual layer of clothing. In women, this insulation is even better kasi mas marami tayong fat. The insulation beneath the skin is an effective means of maintaining normal internal core temp, even though it allows the temperature of the skin to approach the temperature of the surrounding. Basta tandaan nyo lang yung layers, yung parts ng insulator system, okay? Epidermis hanggang taba. Pa. Blood vessels are distributed profusely beneath the skin. At this point, dapat alam nyo na, blood vessels nyo ay part ng circulatory system. Para siyang kalsada. Doon dumadaloy lahat ng mga kung anong gusto mong ipabiyahe. Nutrients, red blood cell, WBC, etc. Especially important is a continuous venous plexus that is supplied by inflow of blood from the skin capillaries and venous plexus. In the most exposed areas of the body, yung hands, feet, and ears mo, blood is also supplied to the plexus directly from the small arteries through highly muscular AV anastomosis, arteriovenous anastomosis. Wala, connection lang ng artery sa vein. Okay? Artery sa vein. Ang pinaka-ibabaw, no, ay ang capillaries. Okay? Pinaka-malapit sa outermost part ng balat mo. Ito mga introduction ng The rate of blood flow into the skin, venous plexus, can vary tremendously from barely above 0 to as great as 30% of the total cardiac output. Nalala niyo cardiac output? Finance kayo eh. Cardiac output, COSH. Diba? COSH. Anyway. So, ang blood flow dito, pwedeng 0 or 30% ng cardiac output mo. Kung 5 liters per or minute ang cardiac output mo, kunin mo 30% nun, okay? A high rate of skin flow causes heat to be conducted from the core to the skin with great efficiency, whereas reduction in the rate of skin flow can decrease the heat conduction from the core to very little. Tandaan nyo yung blood. Hawak na ba kayo ng blood? Mainit-init yun. Okay? Kapag sobrang init ng katawan mo, yung core, or mga deep tissues mo dyan, ano mangyayari? Magpapadala ka ng maraming blood sa surface ng skin. Okay? Magvasodilate ka, mamumula-mula ka. Ano pa? Papawis dito. Ayan, pag-usapan natin later yan. May diagram for that. Okay, approximate 8-fold increase in heat conductance between fully vasoconstricted state and fully vasodilated state. Skin is an effective controlled heat radiator of the system. Take note of the terms, ha? Heat radiator. Sa kotse, may radiator din, di ba? Oh. Nabanggit ko, heat radiator and thermostat. Sino ang thermostat? Sino ang heat radiator? Flow of blood to the skin is the most effective mechanism for heat transfer from the body core to the skin. If gusto mo raw, mabawasan yung init sa katawan mo, padala mo yung dugo sa malapit sa skin. Okay? Sa exit point na yan eh. For instance, mainit sa bahay mo. Anong gusto mong gawin sa mga bintana? Sara, bukas. In the chat box. Sobrang init. 50 degrees sa loob ng bahay mo. Anong gagawin mo sa windows? Bubuksan. I-open mo. Ganon din dito. Magbabasodilate. Ayan o. As you increase the temperature, sobrang init, yung blood vessels mo near your skin will be vasodilated. Bubukas, no? Para mas maraming dugo. Mga dugo, halika dito. Palalamigin ko kayo. Okay? Ano pa? Tapos pag nagpawis kasi yan, imagine mo yung sweat mo, pag in-evaporate mo kasi yan, liquid to gas, nag-a-absorb ng heat yun. Yung tubig, kung gusto mong pakuluan, iinitin mo, di ba? So, ina-absorb niya yung heat. Pag nag-evaporate na yung sweat mo, nabawasan yung init ng katawan mo, okay? Kinuha niya yung heat eh. Ginamit niya yung heat ng katawan mo para kumulo yung sweat, yung tubig sa balat. So, nabawasan ka ng heat. Pag malamig naman, sobrang lamig. Kunyari, nag-snow sa labas ng bahay mo, sasara mo yung bintana. O ganun din to. Vasoconstricted yung mga blood vessels. Okay? Pag super duper lamig. Imagine mag-drive ka tapos sobrang windy, may bagyo, ang lamig. Bubuksan mo ba bintana? Ay, hindi, di ba? Sasara mo. Mag-vasoconstrict din to conserve heat. Okay? Heat conduction to the skin by the blood is controlled by the degree of vasoconstriction of the arterioles. Highlight. Arterioles. And the AV anastomosis that supply blood to the venous plexus of the skin. This vasoconstriction is controlled almost entirely by the sympathetic nervous system. Wait lang. Okay. In response to changes in body core temp and changes in environmental temperature. Nag-iisip yung utak natin. Pag sobrang lamig, anong gagawin ko? Ganon. Pag sobrang init, anong gagawin natin? Sino nag-iisip? Si hypothalamus. Okay? Minsan nga lang, nauutakan siya. Pag may mga pyrogens, may PGE2, nalilito siya. Okay? Binabago niya yung set point. Physics of how heat is lost from the skin surface. Listen well kasi lumabas sa boards. Radiation, conduction, convection, tinanong sa fisyo. For a while, Don't forget about your pets. Huwag niyo sila kalimutang i-hydrate din, ha? Lalo na kung nasa outdoor sila. Wawa naman. Okay.
However, heat energy can also be transferred without particles.
Ito, transfer lang. Radiation. In any direction yan. Tapos, may conduction kapag pinasa mo yung init mo sa ka-holding hands mo, no? May physical contact. Convection. Mag-usapan natin later. Kasi mabasa boards. So, most infrared heat rays, a type of EM electromagnetic ray yan, that radiate from the body have wavelengths of 5 to 20 micrometers, 10 to 30 times the wavelengths of light rays. Di ko tatanong. All objects that are not at absolute zero temperature radiate such rays. So, tayo din, nag-emit din tayo ng infrared. Okay? Ang absolute zero, yan yung pinakamalamig. 0 Kelvin. Okay? Human body radiates heat or heat rays in all directions. Heat rays are also being radiated from the walls of rooms and other objects toward the body. If the temperature of the body is greater than the temperature of the surroundings, a greater quantity of heat is radiated from the body than is radiated to the body. Ano daw? Ano daw? So, kung mainit sa katawan mo, ipapasa mo yun sa surrounding mo. Okay? So, yung term na sara mo yung pinto, lalabas yung aircon. Mali. Okay? Isara mo, kunyari, naka-aircon ka ngayon. Isara mo yung pinto kasi pag nakabukas yan, yung warm air sa labas, papasok. Yung heat ang gumagalaw. Okay? Heat ang gumagalaw. Yan o, kapag mainit yung katawan mo, kumpara sa kwarto mo, edi yung heat sa body, pupunta sa environment. Paano? In various ways. Pwedeng via radiation, conduction, tulad dito, yung puwet mo mainit, may mainit na yung upuan. May physical contact, conduction yun. Okay? Conduction. Ano pa? Through air currents, convection. No, dali ba basta boys? Alimutan ko na. Basta isa dyan, radiation, conduction, and convection. Loss of heat by conduction to air, however, represents a sizable proportion of the body's heat loss even under normal conditions. Kasi 'di ba, yung air molecules din natin nakikita, may nagfi-physical touch din sa balat mo. Okay? Mga air particles. Oh, may contact, so conduction din 'yun. Ano pa? Heat is the kinetic energy of molecular motion, and the molecules of the skin are continually undergoing vibratory motion. Ayan. Much of the energy of this motion can be transferred to the air if the air is colder than the skin, thus increasing the velocity of the air molecules motion. Nice to know. Once the temperature of air adjacent to the skin equals the temperature of the skin, no further loss of heat occurs in this way because now an equal amount of heat is conducted from air to the body. Pag yung temperature ng balat mo same sa air particle na nakadikit sa balat mo, wala nang transfer doon. Okay? Conduction of heat from the body to the air is self-limited unless the heated air moves away from the skin. So new unheated air is continually brought in contact with the skin, a phenomenon called air convection. Kuha niyo yung air convection. Pag tinangay na, ayan o, may air current. Air convection yan. Ayan. O, conductive heat loss. Basta pag conduction, may physical touch. Tandaan ha, physical contact. Once the temperature of the air adjacent to the skin equals the temperature of the skin, no further loss of heat occurs. Alam na yan. Conduction of heat from the body to the air is self-limited. Ulit-ulit lang ang secretary ko. Anyway, Yung temperature na to, pag mas mainit yung puwet mo kaysa sa upuan, matatransfer. Okay? Yung heat conduction yun. Kunyari, andito yung kaklase mo, tapos nararamdaman niya yung init mo. Okay? Through air currents. Oh, convection yun. Tapos ikaw, nag-emit ka ng energy in all directions, radiation yun. Ano pa? And
Convection, on the other hand, occurs mainly in fluids. And remember, fluids can refer to anything that can flow, so both liquids and gases. Because the particles in fluids aren't fixed, once they're heated and they gain kinetic energy, they all move around faster. By the process of random diffusion, this will cause these more energetic particles to move away from the warmer region towards the cooler region. And overall, this means that the higher energy particles in the warmer region are a lot more spread out than those in the cooler region. So effectively, the fluid in the warmer region actually expands as it heats up, and so becomes less dense than the cooler fluid. To understand how this works in real life, let's imagine that we had a container of fluid, so that could be either liquid or gas. As we heat the container, the following things would happen. First, the particles near the heat source would gain kinetic energy and spread out, becoming less dense. Because they're less dense, these particles rise above the colder, less dense particles above them. And at the same time, these cooler particles sink down and take their place. Whilst this is happening though, the hot particles would lose their energy and cool down, and the cool particles now at the bottom would heat up. Because of this, the cycle would keep on repeating for as long as the fluid was being heated, and we call this cycle a convection current. We actually see these convection currents all over the place, from oceans to inside buildings, where radiators warm the nearby air and set off the cycle. On the other hand, to reduce convection, we need to stop the free flow of fluids, which is all we're doing when we sleep under a blanket at night, which is stopping the warm air from escaping. What conduction and convection have in common?
physics lang to, skip na natin. Again, conduction, may direct contact, napasa mo yung heat or energy through direct contact. Okay? Radiation, energy is radiated or transmitted in all directions. Pinasa mo in the form of rays or particles. Convection, may fluid. Okay? Fluid. So transfer of heat through a fluid caused by molecular motion. Cooling effect of wind. So when your body is exposed to wind, yung air particles na nasa balat mo kanina, napalitan na. Okay? So layer of air adjacent to the skin is replaced by new air much more rapidly than is normal. So heat loss by convection increases. So the cooling effect of wind at low velocities is about proportional to the square root of wind velocity. Ayan. Lord, anong pakialam mo as doktor? Diyan, di ba? Kung may air particles ka raw, dito, nakalagay sa balat mo. Tapos yung init mo, pinasa mo dun sa air na nakapatong sa skin mo. Eh, inelectrifanan mo. Talsik na yon. May bago na namang air particles doon, ready to pick up yung init ng body mo. So, may cooling effect. Okay? Yung wind. Gumalaw na yung air. Okay? Kung walang hangin, edi yung air particles na nasa balat mo, andun lang. Wala nang... Tapos kung pantay na yung temperature ng dalawa, hindi ka na niya matutulungan magpalamig. Okay? Conduction and convection of heat from a person suspended in water. Teka, important pa ba to? Ayan, nice to know. Evaporation. Ito important. So kapag nagpawis ka, so may sweat ka dyan, yung liquid dito, pwede mag-evaporate. Evaporation is liquid to gas. Okay? And to do that, kailangan niya ng init. Saan kukunin yun? Sa body mo. So kinuha niya yung init sa body mo, kinuha ng pawis yung init sa body mo, therefore, nawalan ka ng heat. Lalamig ka. Okay? Yan. Important yan Loss of heat by evaporation of sweat. Kaya huwag mo pipigilan yung sweating phenomenon mo. Okay? May mga antiperspirant, etc. Kasi important mechanism nga to cool off yung katawan. Okay? Pag imagine mo someone na hindi na nagpapawis talaga, may mga ganong diseases, wala yung sweat glands nila. Pag mainit yung core, hindi niya madidissipate yung heat. Hindi siya nagpapawis eh. Oh. Hindi lalabas yung sweat. Sweat is liquid. Tapos pag gusto mo sana i-evaporate siya para yung apoy, yung pangsiga, para mag-evaporate yung tubig mo sa balat, galing sa body. So mababawasan yung heat. Kinuha eh. Ginawang pangluto. Eh hindi ka nagsisweat. Yari. Ang init-init ng katawan mo. Okay? Important yan. Evaporation is a cooling mechanism at very high air temperature. Tandaan. Clothing reduces conductive and convective heat loss. Okay? Especially pag nasa winter. Mga countries ka na may snow. So, may mga heat tech to prevent dissipating your heat para mainitan ka kahit papaano. Ito mas important sa atin. Sweating and its regulation by autonomic nervous system. Okay. Again, ang sweating, kung naalala nyo yan, ay part ng sympathetic nervous system, pero acetylcholine ang neurotransmitter. Diba? Sympath sweat gland, acetylcholine siya. Okay. So, stimulation of the anterior hypothalamic preoptic area in the brain, either electrically or by excess heat, causes sweating. Pag nainitan ka, tandaan na anterior hypothalamus ang magre-receive nun. Anterior. Okay? Pag hot, harap. Anterior. Siya yung magpo-process and siya yung magre-reply. Sasabihin ni anterior hypothalamus, oy, mainit daw. O magpawis ka ngayon. Okay. Yan. The nerve impulses from this area that cause sweating are transmitted in the autonomic pathways to the spinal cord and then through sympathetic outflow. Paano magre-reply sa hypothalamus? Kakausapin niya si autonomics. Oh, magpawis ka. Simpa, activate mo na yung sweat gland. Ganun siya. And tandaan na, cholinergic fibers ang nag-i-innervate sa sweat gland. Simpa siya, pero acetylcholine ang neurotransmitter. When you say cholinergic, nerve na nag-generate ng acetylcholine. Sino pa nag-stimulate dyan? Mga epinephrine mo, norepinephrine na ginagawa ng adrenal medulla. Ang tatanong ko dito, definitely lalabas sa exam, anterior hypothalamus. Pag nainitan, siya ang mag-a-analyze nun. Okay? And siya rin ang magre-reply. Ano sasabihin niya? Mag-sweat kayo. Sino kakausapin niya para magpawis ka? Si sympathetic nervous system. Okay? Which is a cholinergic. Diba? Postganglionic cholinergic neuron siya. Parts of the sweat. Sa ano niya yan? Sa derma niya. Okay, so ito yung sweat gland nyo. Kita nyo lang yung pore, ang haba ng duct. Ito yung sweat gland. It's innervated by sympathetic nervous system. Pag naka-sympa mode, ito, magre-release ng acetylcholine, then, yun na, arangkada na. So, know the parts lang. There's a deep subdermal cord portion that secretes the sweat, and a duct portion that passes outward through the dermis and epidermis of the skin. Okay? As is true of so many other glands, the secretory portion of the sweat gland secretes a fluid called the primary secretion or precursor secretion. The concentrations of constituents in the fluid are then modified as the fluid flows through the duct. So magsisecrete siya pero may dagdag bawas pa habang palabas siya ng duct. Tandaan. Tatanong ko to. Cholinergic ang nag-i-innervate dyan. Okay? Acetylcholine ang neurotransmitter mo sa sweat gland. Kasi usually pag simpa, epi nor epi yung neurotransmitter. Ito yung exception. Simpa sweat gland. Acetylcholine yan. Ano ang part ng ano mo? Ng sweat? Anong laman yan? Halos pareho sa plasma ng dugo mo, pero wala siyang proteins. Okay? Walang protein sa pawis. May sodium siya na around 142, tulad ng dugo. May chloride din. Then, may other solutes pa. Pero nadadagdag bawas yan. Yung sodium kanina, kunyari 142, bumabalik yung iba. Okay? Na nare-reabsorb. Reabsorb most of the sodium and chloride. So, pagdating sa labas, medyo bawas na yung alat, no? What else? Tandaan na, cholinergic yan. Ito yung composition ng sweat. May sodium, may chloride, then may other solutes. Namomodify siya habang palabas siya sa pore. Degree of reabsorption depends on the rate of sweating. Gaano ka kabilis magpawis? Kung masyado mabilis, edi walang time mag-reabsorb ng sodium. Okay? Alat nun. Ito. What else? Important dito for finals, other exam. Again, the degree of reabsorption depends on the rate of sweating. Imagine mo, kakagawa lang ng sweat, tapos nirelease mo agad, bilis mo magpawis. Wala nang time mag-reabsorb ng sodium and chloride. Ang dami mong sodium and chloride sa sweat mo. Sweat glands are slightly stimulated, okay, leading to precursor fluid which will pass slowly. Then, all the sodium and chloride ions are reabsorbed. Pag nangyari yon, concentration falls to 5 milliequivalents. Then it will reduce the osmotic pressure. Most of the water is also reabsorbed. Secretary ko gumawa ng PowerPoint, pangit tuloy. Other constituents are concentrated at low rates of sweating, such as urea, lactic acid, potassium. Yung mga yon nako-concentrate kapag mabagal ka magpawis. Okay. Pag masyado mabilis ka magpawis naman, ano mangyayari? Large amounts of precursor secretion can lead to duct that will reabsorb only slightly more than half of the sodium chloride concentration. Pag mabilis masyado yung sweat mo, konting water lang yung babalik sa dugo. Small amount of water will be reabsorbed. Okay? Other constituents of sweat are only moderately increased in concentration. Urea is about twice that in plasma. Lactic acid is about 4 times. Hindi ko siya itatanong. A significant loss of sodium chloride occurs in the sweat when a person is acclimatized to heat. Hindi nasanay. Much less electrolyte loss occur despite increased sweating capacity once a person has become acclimatized. Loss of heat by panting. Yan, no? Hinihingal yung mga aso. Sa animals naman to. Konti ang ability nila to lose heat from the surface of their body kasi puro fur, puro balahibo. Paano sila magpapawis, diba? The skin of most lower animals is not supplied by sweat glands, which prevents most of the evaporative loss of heat from the skin. So, dahil doon, wala silang sweat gland, puro balahibo pa, paano niya ilalabas yung init? By panting na. Okay? Yan. Ito turn on ang panting mechanism or phenomenon by the thermoregulator centers of the brain. So kapag yung blood ng maaso mo, sobrang init, yung hypothalamus nila mag-i-initiate ng signal. Mag-iisip si hypothalamus. One of the signals is to initiate panting. Yan ganyan, hinihingal sila. It is associated with the pneumotaxic respiratory center located in the pons. Pag naggaganto sila, nagbe-breathe in and out sila na mabilis. Thus, large quantities of new air from the exterior come in contact. So, mabilis, pumasok yung hangin, pipick upin yung init, then labas. Ganun sila. Okay? So, huwag mo takpan yung bibig. What else? This mechanism cools the blood in the respiratory passage mucosa as a result of water evaporation from the mucosa surface, especially evaporation of saliva from the tongue. Yet, panting does not increase in the alveolar ventilation more than is required for proper control of blood. Ayan, ng PowerPoint talaga. Loss of heat by panting. Ito na yung sinabi ko kanina. Sa pons. Aso yan. Ewan ko kung nagaganyan kayo, kung aso rin kayo. Ayan, ito yung sinabi ko. Next, regulation of body temp, role of hypothalamus. Ito na. Ito na. Pinakita ko na ito kanina. Nakita nyo na rin sa video, di ba? Negative feedback to ah. When you say negative feedback, kunyari, mainit ngayon. Mainit yung katawan mo. Si hypothalamus, gagawa ng something to contradict that. Okay? Yun yung negative feedback. Mainit, kakalabanin ko yan, papalamigin ko to. Ang mga positive feedback sa body mo, dalawa lang naman oxytocin during delivery. Ano pa? Estrogen-induced LH surge. Lalabas sa finals niyo yan. All the rest, usually negative feedback ang ginagamit. So, ganun, pag mainit, ang environment mo, body temperature mo, umiinit din. Pero dapat, hindi ka mag-exceed doon sa 37 plus or minus 6. Ang role ni hypothalamus, gumawa ng paraan para hindi ka mag-exceed doon. Okay? Tandaan na, ang thermostat ng body, hypothalamus. Ang anterior, para sa ano itong anterior, pang-detect ng hot or ng heat. So your anterior hypothalamic preoptic area contains large numbers of heat-sensitive neuron. Important yung word na anterior kasi yung posterior hypothalamus mo, ang dinedetect cold naman. Okay? Yung likod mo, cold. Okay? Ang harap mo, hot ang dinedetect. Bakit kaya ng anterior mag-detect nun? Kasi marami siyang heat-sensitive neurons. Ayan. Mas marami siyang heat-sensitive neurons kumpara sa cold-sensitive neurons, yung anterior hypothalamus mo. They function as temperature sensors for controlling body temp. When you say heat-sensitive neurons, sa bawat 10 degree na tinaas ng body temp mo, magfa-fire ang neurons na yan 2 to 10 times. So, magigising talaga yung katawan. Ang cold-sensitive neurons, pag bumaba ang temperature, dun lang sila aariba, dun lang sila magtatrabaho. So, ano nangyari? Pag mainit, your preoptic area is also heated. Tapos, magre-reply siya. Anong re-reply niya hypothalamus? Mainit daw. Sige, magpawis ka. O blood vessels, i-dilate mo yan. Para tulad ng bahay, bubuksan natin bintana to dissipate heat. Okay? So, immediate reaction to cause the body to lose heat. Ito. Any excess body heat production is inhibited. Si anterior hypothalamic, sabi niya, uy, mainit daw. O di yung mga other stuff na pampainit, stop muna natin. Okay? Stop muna natin. Hypothalamic preoptic area has the ability to serve as thermostatic body temp control center. Tatanong sa exam. Detection of temp by skin receptors. Sino nagsumbong kay hypothalamus? Yun yung tanong eh. Bakit nag-gets ni hypothalamus na mainit? May nagsumbong dyan. May mga manong guard. Tawag doon receptors. Yung mga nagbabantay ng temperature mo, pwedeng nasa balat or nasa organs, deep body tissue. Sila yung magsusumbong kay hypothalamus. Nagte-text kay hypothalamus. Peripheral detection of temperature is mainly detecting cold instead of warm. Dito sa skin. Kasi ang skin, mas maraming cold receptors. Sobrang lamig, yung mga guard sa skin mo, mga receptors sa skin mo, magte-text yan kay hypothalamus. Okay? And they are transient receptor potential family of cation channels. And they mediate thermal sensation over a range of skin temperatures. Yung mga, dinescribe lang nito ano itsura ng guard, ng mga receptors nagbabantay. Okay. When the skin of the entire body is chilled, immediate reflex effects are invoked to increase body temp. Kunyari, ikaw nilagay ka raw sa freezer. O, sobrang lamig ng katawan mo. O, anong mangyayari? Siyempre, magsusumbong na naman yung mga receptor sa balat. Uy, hypothalamus. Posterior part ng hypothalamus, malamig. Ganun ba? Sabi hypothalamus, o sige, painitin natin konti. Activate mo yung shivering. Kasi pag nangatog ka, tataas yung heat production mo. Pag nagko-contract yung skeletal muscle, okay? May heat production dun. Para makaramdam ka konting init. Imagine mo, nasa ano ka? Sa Korea. Nagsiski ka dun sa Korea. Sobrang lamig. Okay? So, yung iba nangangatog. Ano pa? Magpapawis ka ba doon sa malamig na lugar? Hindi. Kasi pag nagpawis ka, mas lalo kang lalamigin. Nag-evaporate yung sweat mo eh. Mag-evaporate yung sweat mo, tatangayin yung init ng body mo doon. Di wala ka na namang init ng katawan. Ano pa? O yung mga dugo natin, wag mo munang padala sa blood. I-vasoconstrict mo siya. Yung mga blood vessel. Kasi tandaan mo yung dugo mainit, di ba? Gusto mo ba mag-escape yung heat nun? Sa balat, hindi. So, i-vasoconstrict mo para yung dugo pumunta sa center, sa core. Mainitan yung kalamnan, yung core natin. Okay? Kung asan yung dugo, doon mainit. Ano pa? Kung mainit sa core, edi padala mo sa balat para mag-dissipate yung heat. Kung malamig sa core, naka-freezer ka, balik mo yung dugo dun. Okay? Eh si skin ang nag-sacrifice. Sinasacrifice mo si skin. Yung blood flow sa skin. Depende sa temperature. Tandaan yan sacrifice siya. Malamig. O sige, huwag na natin padala ng dugo si balat. Yung mga ano na lang, crucial or critical organs such as yung brain, liver. I-vasoconstrict ka to diminish loss of body heat. Then, the deep body temperature receptors are found in the spinal cord, abdominal viscera, yung mga organs natin, and great veins in the upper abdomen and thorax. Yung mga nagre-report sa kalamnan mo, nasa spinal cord, sa organs mo, etc. Hindi lang skin ang may reporter, ang may receptor. Skin and deep body tissues. Magkaiba sila ng function kasi ito, si deep receptor, na-expose sa body core temperature mo. Deep nga sila Okay? However, like the skin temperature receptors, they detect mainly cold rather than warm. Okay? Na temperature. So both the skin and the deep body receptors are concerned with preventing hypothermia. Tandaan mo yung katawan, ang gusto nila 37, di ba? Kasi 37 degrees Celsius. Less than that, patay yung mga enzymes mo sa body. Proteins ang most abundant na natin, macromolecules sa body. And may sarili silang temperature na gusto. Okay? Ito yung optimum. Less than that or more than that, yari ang mga enzymes mo sa body, hindi na sila mag-act. They can be denatured. You have to maintain this nga, Ito na, highlight. Posterior hypothalamus integrates temperature sensory signals. Posterior na tayo. Posterior, likod, yung back mo. Imagine mo, cool ang back mo. Siya yung nag-integrate kapag malamig. Kapag malamig. Pag malamig, nakita niya. Asa na tayo? May set temperature pa pala. Sige. Again, sensors, temperature sensors in skin and hypothalamus. Detect the temperature. Iko-compare yan sa set point temperature. Nakita nyo sa video, di ba? May set point si hypothalamus o dapat 37 plus minus 0.6 lang Iko-compare ko yung isusumbong mo sa akin kapag less than my goal. Sabi ng receptor, sabi ni skin, hypothalamus 31 lang yung temperature ngayon. Eto nga yung set point. Sabi ni hypothalamus, sige, gawa tayo ng way para tumaas yan, para bumalik sa 37. So, initiate heat generating mechanism, shivering, vasoconstriction, tatanong ko yun sa exam. Okay? Pag yung temperature ng surroundings or ng body mo ay more than the set point, kunyari, 39 degrees Celsius, hypothalamus, 39 ngayon. Ganun ba? O di, mag-sweating tayo, vasodilation, para bumalik sa set point. Ganun lang. Ito nyo naka-bold na yan. Important yan, pero wala sa handout. Nakalagay ko lang Shivering is the most potent mechanism for heat generation. Tandaan. Pangangatog. Shivering. Diba? Pag nilalamig ka, nangangatog ka, para mag-increase ang heat mo. Malamig means mababa temperature mo sa core. Si hypothalamus, si posterior hypothalamus nag-reply, uy, mababa temperature, manginig ka naman, mangatog ka naman. Para uminit konti. Okay? What else? Hypothalamus will also, diba, hypothalamus si Lola, will also talk to the thyroid gland. Uy, thyroid gland, malamig. Baka naman pwedeng, taasan mo yung thyroxine, thyroid hormone. Alam mo naman si thyroxine, pang basal metabolic rate yan. Pag tumaas to, iinit ka. Okay? Ano pa? Uy, skin, promote mo naman yung simpa mode, mag-sweat tayo. Totoo ba yan? Magpapawis, di ba? Pag magpapawis, pampakul, mali. So, i-decrease niya. Balat, huwag ka magpapawis Kasi pag nagpawis ka, lalo tayong lalamigin. Ano pa? Blood vessels sa skin, i-vasoconstrict mo yan. Para hindi mag-dissipate yung heat. And yung blood mo, magpunta lang sa core. Mainitan yung kalamnan. Ano pa? Brown fat in baby. So, ang dami, di ba? Ang heat generating mechanisms mo, yan lahat Pero ang pinakamalakas, kung sobrang nilalamig ka, mangangatog. Okay, shivering. Ano naman meat? Heat loss mechanism mo, if, for a while Heat loss mechanism. Kunyari, sobrang init. Oh, how will you dissipate that? Ang most potent ay through radiation. Kung ikaw to, nagra-radiate ka ng heat energy in all direction through EM wave. Ano na yan? Neural effector mechanisms. Decrease and increase body temp. Na-mention na natin to. If sobrang init ng body, diba pag sobrang init, nag-exercise ka, nag-gym ka, ang pula-pula mo. Kasi nag-vasodilate yung blood vessels. Okay? Mainit sa loob. Oh, ipadala mo sa skin. Lawakan mo yung kalsada sa balat. Para yung dugo, andito sa balat. O ano ngayon, kung andyan yung dugo. Pag andyan yung dugo, matatransfer na yung heat niyan. Papunta sa epidermis, etc. etc. Through convection, conduction, etc. Okay? Tandaan. Vasodilation kapag mainit. This is caused by inhibition of the sympathetic centers in the posterior hypothalamus that causes vasoconstriction. Yan. Okay. Pina-shut up mo si posterior. Yun lang yun. Pina-shut up mo si posterior. Kasi si posterior, di ba, tuwing ano siya, malamig. Ngayon nga, mainit. Sino bida? Si anterior hypothalamus. So, i-shut up mo to. Yun lang. Pag nangyari yun, magbabasodilate na. Yung sa balat, ha? Yung sa balat. Ayan. Ano pa? Sobrang init. Magsisweat ka. Sweating. Bakit kailangan magpawis? Mention na natin yan. May evaporation na nagaganap. So there's a sharp increase in the rate of evaporative heat loss from sweating when the body temperature rises above the critical level of 37. An additional 1 degree increase in body temp causes enough sweating to remove 10 times the basal rate of body heat production. Medyo potent ang pagpapawis. Yun lang yun. Okay? Kasi nga, kung ikaw yan, pangit mo. Teka. Kung ikaw to, pag nagpawis ka, bakit lalamig? Ito, pawis mo. Siyempre, liquid yan. Liquid yung pawis mo. Tapos ikaw, kunyari may apoy ka dyan. Yung apoy, yung init sa katawan mo, magagamit para yung liquid na pawis mag-evaporate, maging gas. Pag nag-evaporate yung pawis mo, tangay na yung heat. Ginamit nga para yung liquid maging gas. Para kumulo yung tubig. So, nabawasan yung heat mo. Yung heat ng katawan mo, ginamit para mag-evaporate yung pawis. Ganon. So, nabawasan ka na. So, there's, decrease in heat production. The mechanism that cause excess heat production are strongly inhibited. Ano pa? Prevent shivering and chemical thermogenesis. Tatanong ko sa exam nyo, May steps. Tapos sabihin nyo sa akin kung turned on or off. Kapag, or when the body is too hot. Kung sobrang init ng katawan mo, magsishiver ka pa, pang init lalo yan ano mo to, i-shut off mo din. Ayan, okay? So, anong gagawin kung ikaw ay nasa Jordan? Ito, sa Petra, Jordan. Puntang Holy Land. Last year. Ito naman sa Egypt. Sobrang init. Sobrang init. Tapos naka-doble-doble ako ng layer. Ang pine-prevent ko kasi dyan, sunburn. Yun. Sunburn. Dito mainit, tapos humid, malagkit. Doon mainit lang, tapos tuyo. Ang Uniqlo na nila, long sleeves nila, UV stuff, effective yan. Kasi ang itim ng kamay ko, tapos yung dito ko maputi. So it means na protect niya. Anyway, anong point ko dito? Kapag mainit, anong mangyayari? Vasodilation, vasoconstriction. Baso ano? Ito sa Egypt, Cairo. Pag mainit, mapula-pula ka, di ba? Vasodilation. Okay? Lahat ng dugo ko, pinadala ko sa skin para mag-dissipate yung heat. Tapos balik na yung blood. Okay? Pag medyo malamig-lamig na. Paano naman if too cold? Vasoconstriction. Tapos tindig balahibo. Okay? Yung piloerection, erector pilay. Okay? Tindig balahibo. Kita nyo na yan. Kanina. And do everything to generate heat. Thermogenesis. Okay? So, ang gagawin, pag malamig, vasoconstrict mo yung blood vessels para wala na masyadong dugo na pupunta doon, wala nang heat na lalabas. So, skin vasoconstriction caused by stimulation of the posterior. Highlight na yung likod ng hypothalamus, nagre-respond sa cold. Posterior yan. Pag anterior, hot ang dinedetect. Piloerection, it means tindig balahibo. Part kasi ng SIMPA mode, naka-SIMPA mode ka. Pag na-turn on ang sympathetic stimulation, your erector pili muscles will contract. This one, hairs upright. Pero hindi na may important mechanism niyan sa human beings. Para lang itrap yung something dyan. Yan. Increase in thermogenesis. Kapag nilalamig, do something to increase your heat. Ang gagawin mo dyan, shivering. Nasabi natin, most potent. Ano pa? Sympathetic excitation of heat production. And thyroxine secretion. Tandaan na, si T4, lumalabas sa boards. So, yung mga yon, yung mangyayari kapag ikaw ay nasa malamig na lugar. Korea to, this one. New Zealand. Okay. Ito naman, hypothalamic stimulation of shivering. Specifically, anong part ng hypothalamus? Dorsomedial portion ng posterior hypothalamus. Hindi ko na tatanong. Ang tatanong ko lang dyan, anterior o posterior? Kapag malamig. Sino magde-detect? Si posterior. And anong i-reply niya kapag malamig? Shivering, etc. etc. Pag malamig, shut off mo na si anterior hypothalamus, ha? Kasi pag na-turn on mo yan, anong gagawin niya? Ano yan? Ang dinedetect niya, mainit. So, anong sisignal niya? Magpawis ka, mag-vasodilate ka, etc. This one is excited by cold signals from the skin and spinal cord. Si posterior hypothalamus mo, yung mga nagsusumbong sa kanya, yung mga nasa balat and spinal cord na receptors. Okay? Pag na-turn on sila, or na-stimulate sila kasi may cold stimulus. Center becomes activated when the body temp falls even a fraction of a degree below a critical temperature level. Yan. Basta tandaan na, anterior hypothalamus, para saan siya? For heat loss. Ano dinedetect muna? Mainit. Anong gagawin niya? Lahat para mag-heat loss ka. Posterior hypothalamus, anong dinedetect niya? Malamig. So, anong gagawin niya? Lahat para mag-heat gain ka. Yung concept na yan, babalik-balik ta rin ko kayo sa exam. Okay? Ano pa? Okay. Hypothalamic stimulation of shivering. The signals are non-rhythmical and do not cause the actual muscle shaking. They increase the tone of the skeletal muscles throughout the body by facilitating the activity of anterior motor neurons. When the tone rises above a certain critical level, shivering begins. Hindi ko yung tatanong yan. Yan, nangangatog. Ang babies hindi nangangatog, di ba? So, hindi naman sila nagsasabi na, mama, malamig. Walang ganun. Tinitingnan mo lang. Pero kailangan mo silang ibalot, di ba? Pag newborn. Kasi hindi nga sila nanginginig. Pag nanginig yan, isip ka, nagsi-seizure, epilepsy, whatever. Okay? Bakit di sila nanginginig? Sa atin, pag nilalamig, nag-shiver tayo. Kasi marami silang brown fat. Yung brown fat, nagpo-produce ng heat yun. Okay? Ang tawag doon, non-shivering thermogenesis. As you age, babawasan tayo ng brown fat. So ano na lang pang survive mo pag malamig? Shivering. Okay? Next. Okay, sympathetic or chemical excitation of heat production. Ano daw magpapa-generate ng heat sa'yo pag naka-simpa mode ka, pag maraming nor-epi-epi, fight or flight yan eh. Okay? Pag tumaas yung BMR mo based on metabolic rate, yan. This one results partially from norepi and epi to uncouple oxidative phosphorylation, which means that excess foodstuff are oxidized and thereby release energy in the form of heat, but do not cause ATP to be formed. Nalala niyo yun sa biochem. Sa biochem, kung ito yung Inner mitochondrial membrane mo, di ba? Complex 1, complex 2, 3, may complex 4, and complex 5 sa ATP synthase. Di ba naglalabasan yung mga protons dyan? Oh, labas ang mga protons, tapos babalik dito sa ATP synthase para makagawa ka ng ATP sa biochem. Ang ginagawa ng epi nor epi mo, ina-uncouple niya yun. Hinihiwalay niya. Uy, mga proton dyan. Huwag na kayong lumusot dun. Eh, saan kami lulusot? Paano yung energy namin? I-dissipate na lang natin in the form of heat. Ganun. So, wala kang pera, wala kang ATP. Ano nangyari dito? Kung hindi na-convert sa ATP, na-convert sa heat. Okay? Yung ibig sabihin ng uncoupling. In-uncouple mo. Wala lang. Ganun din yung brown fat actually. Yun lang sinasabi dito. Itong mga catecholamines mo, pinaghiwalay yung electron transport chain and si ATP synthase. So wala kang pera, saan napunta yung energy from food na convert sa heat? Yan. Ano pa? Degree of chemical thermogenesis is directly proportional to the amount of brown fat. Sabi na natin yan. Brown fat, maraming, taba mo, maraming mitochondria. Okay? Saan nakikita yan? Sa mga babies. Mas marami sila kaysa sa atin. Acclimatization greatly affects the intensity of chemical thermogenesis. Kunyari, nakatira ka sa Baguio, doon ka forever, lumaki. Oh. Ano mangyayari? You will, for several weeks, will exhibit a 100 to 500% increase in heat production. Yung mga tao sa Baguio o sa Sagada, mas marami silang heat na napoproduce sa katawan. Na-acclimatize na sila eh, nasanay. Okay? Kaya minsan, naka-short sila kahit sobrang lamig, tapos ikaw balot na balot sa Baguio. Kasi ikaw, hindi ka man na-acclimatize, hindi ka nasanay. Sila sanay na. Nag-adapt na yung katawan. O, laging malamig. O sige, gawin, mag-ano tayo, heat production ng 100 or 500 times. This increased thermogenesis also leads to a corresponding increase in food intake. Mas matakaw sila, usually. Kasi chemical energy ng food, kino-convert nila sa heat. Adult human beings have almost no brown fat. Ang infant, meron. Okay? So, kaya nila mag-thermogenesis. Non-shivering thermogenesis sa pagbata. Thyroxine output as a long-term cause of increased heat production. Kaya mga may hyperthyroidism, mataas yung T4, mainit yung balat nila. Okay? Mainit-init sila. Tapos laging gustong paypayan. Yun lang yan. Kasi si T4, pro-heat siya. Pro-heat generation. Tandaan. Kung nakita na kayo may hyperthyroid na patient, hawakan mo yung balat. Mainit. May T4 sila eh. Set point for temperature control. After our bladder break. 1 minute lang. Okay, let's proceed. Set point for temperature control. So, temperatures above 37.1, if binigyan kayo ng example sa exam, i-exaggerate nyo, ha? Tulad nito, temperatures above 37.1 daw. Kunyari, 100 degrees. Above rin yun, di ba? So, anong gagawin natin? Kung ang temperature mo 100 degrees, so dapat mag-heat loss ka. Okay? The rate of heat loss mechanism should exceed heat production. Hanggang bumalik sa set point. Body temperature falls and approaches 37.1. Ano lang yun? At temperatures below 37 naman, kunyari, ang body temp mo 10 degrees Celsius na lang, sobrang lamig. Ano gagawin mo? Mag-produce ng heat hanggang bumalik sa 37.1. Okay? So, crucial temperature level or set point of temperature control mechanism. All temperature control mechanisms continually attempt to bring the body temperature back to this set point. And imagine mo kung di ka nakinig sa lecture. Di mo alam kung ano yung mga ni-skipan. Mga nice to know. Internal core temperature must change as little as possible. Di ba? Sabi natin, 37 plus or minus 0.6 lang. Kaya nga andyan si hypothalamus eh. Imagine mo if na-knock out mo si hypothalamus, yung patient, wala na yung, wala na siyang pake kung sobrang init, sobrang lamig, wala na magte-text kay sweat gland mo, uy, magpawis ka, uy, magvasoconstrict ka. Wala nang ganun. Okay? So yung mga comatose patient, if na-compromise yung hypothalamus nila, wala na tong temperature regulation. Feedback gain of temperature control system, the ratio of change in environmental temp to change in core body temp, -1. Body temp changes about 1 degree Celsius for each 25 to 30 degree change in environmental temperature. So, ang normal room temp, 25 degrees Celsius. Okay? 25 degrees Celsius. Ang body temp, 37. So, sulat natin na ito yung katawan mo. 37 degrees ang normal mo. Kung nasa kwarto ka, ang normal room temp, 25. Okay? Paano daw kapag tumaas? Kunyari, ngayon, sabi ko 44 degrees, diba? Sabihin natin 40 o 50 degrees. Kunyari, tumaas ng 25 degrees Celsius yung kwarto ko. Kunyari lang, naging 50 degrees. Oh, gaano kataas yung temperature ko? It will increase by 1 degree Celsius. Okay? So, ang 37 ko kanina, magiging 38. Parang nilalagnat ka na. Okay? So, ganun. Ganun siya. But feedback gain of the total mechanism for body temp control averages about 27. An extremely high gain for biological control system. Then, kaya pinaunahan ko kayo ng mga videos kasi mas madali intindihin yung videos. Skin temperature can slightly alter the set point. Okay. The critical temp set point in the hypothalamus, above which sweating begins, below which shivering begins, determined mainly by the degree of activity of heat temperature receptors on the anterior hypothalamic preoptic areas. Ay, Diyos ko. May mga receptors din sa hypothalamus natin. Sila ang nag-set ng critical temp. Yun lang. Skin temperature can slightly alter. Banggit na natin yan. Pag yung balat mo sobrang init, sweating begins at a lower temperature than when skin temperature is low. Kuha nyo ba yan? Kapag sobrang init na ng balat mo, magpawis ka na. Kahit hindi pa ni hypothalamus, hindi pa siya pasok sa standard ni hypothalamus. Okay? Sweating must be inhibited when the skin temperature is low. Pag sobrang lamig ng katawan, ng balat mo sa kamay, magpapawis ba yan? Hindi. Okay? Otherwise, the combined effect of low skin temperature and sweating could cause far too much loss of body heat. Ayan. Okay. Nulit-ulit lang to kanina. Okay? Sinabi natin to kanina. Pag malamig, sinong part ng hypothalamus? Posterior. Okay? Tapos anong sasabihin niya? Mag-shiver ka, mag-vasoconstrict ka, etc. Ayan. What else? Ulit-ulit lang to. Skip na natin. Ano mangyayari kapag napaso ka? So, you also have local skin temperature reflexes. Sinabing reflex, di mo na kailangang pag-isipan. Okay? Kunyari, nakaapak ka ng apoy or ng hot lamp, ano mangyayari sa balat mo doon? May mainit, di ba? It will cause vasodilation and local sweating. Imagine mo yung kamay mo nasa kandila, ang init nun. Okay? Pero kapag, so anong point natin? Yun, si skin mo, kusa na siya nag-isip, di na siya nagpaalam kay hypothalamus. Uy, napapaso ako, may mainit dito. Ang gagawin niya, vasodilate siya and local sweating. Pag naman ikaw nakaapak ng cold water, anong gagawin ng balat mo sa paa? Magva-vasoconstrict and hindi na magpapawis. Kasi ang sweating, magpo-promote nga ng coolness pa. So these reactions are caused by local effects of temperature on blood vessel, ano pa, local cord reflexes conducted from the skin receptor to spinal cord, etc. Intensity is controlled by the central brain temperature controller to help prevent excessive heat exchange. So yung balat mo, nag-iisip rin sila. Okay? Hindi na kailangan iparating lagi kay hypothalamus. Pag sobrang lala lang, dun niya isusumbong kay hypothalamus. Paano kapag naputol, kaya na-transect yung spinal cord? It can lead to impaired internal body temperature. Kasi si hypothalamus nasa utak, paano yun magre-reply? Paano niya itetext yung mga sweat gland mo? Bumababa ba siya? Hindi. Dadaan yung signal niya kay spinal cord. Okay? So kapag transected yon, delikado magmotor, hindi na makakarating sa ano mo, sa balat mo yung gusto sabihin na hypothalamus. Ganun lang siya. Ayun becomes extremely poor. Kaya ingat sa mga ano nyo, activities nyo. Ingatan ang brain and spinal cord. Okay? Otherwise, kahit okay yung utak mo, nag-iisip mabuti sa hypothalamus, hindi niya na mapadala yung message. O mag-shiver ka, o mag-sweat ka, mag-vasoconstrict ka. Kailangan bumaba sa spinal cord yun. Yan. Nagta-text siya. So, papadala yan through nerves. Yung mga nerves mo dadaan dito. So, extremely poor na yung regulation. Okay? Tandaan. Kaya kapag nagmomotor, naka-helmet, iingatan mo tong utak. Ano pa? Ang problema dyan, yung spinal cord. Okay? Baka maano. Iba naman, di nag-helmet. Pag nangyari sa hypothalamus, kahit intact pa yung spinal cord mo, sabi ng spinal cord, ano gagawin natin? Sabi ng balat, hindi ko nga alam wala namang ni-reply sa hypothalamus. Okay, abnormalities of body temperature regulation. Lapit na. Fever. This one is defined as body temperature above the range of normal. Iba kasi yung normal body temp sa kilikili, sa axillary. Iba rin sa rectal, sa oral. Okay? Basta above the range of normal, consider mo na as fever. It can be caused by abnormalities sa brain, toxic substances, infection, tumors, and environmental conditions. It can lead to heat stroke. Ito lalabas sa exam, ha? Pyrogens, these are substances that raise the set point of hypothalamic thermostat. Siya yung di ba may, set point. Gusto niya, 37.1, ganun. Si pyrogen, inuutakan niya, yung hypothalamus. Itaas mo ng konti yung set point. Sabi niya hypothalamus, ganun ba? O sige. So kahit mainit na, hindi pa siya nag-i-initiate kahit mainit na yung katawan mo, nilalagnat ka na, hindi siya nag-i-initiate ng mechanism to cool you down. Inutakan niya kasi may pyrogen Ano yung mga pyrogen na yan? Usually proteins, breakdown product ng kung ano-ano, toxin, kapag may bacterial infection ka. Kita niyo yan from Alila Medical Media video kanina. So when the set point becomes higher than normal, all the mechanisms for raising the body temp are brought into play. So heat conservation, increased heat production. Tandaan nyo to Interleukin-1. Okay? So some pyrogens, when injected into the hypothalamus, can act directly and immediately to increase its set point. Okay. Naalala nyo sa immuno, nagsisecrete sila ng mga cytokines, for instance, interleukin-1, etc., etc. Can cause fever. Some pyrogens, alam nyo na yan. Other pyrogens function indirectly and require several hours of latency. Ang bacterial pyrogens mo are endotoxins from gram-negative bacteria. Ayan, pag nilalagnat ka, mag-isip ka, baka may bacterial infection. But some viruses can also cause that. Okay? Paano yon? Yung bacteria, papasok sa dugo mo, Okay? Kakainin ni macrophage. Si manong guard macrophage. Dinigest niya na yung bacterial products. Tapos nag-release ng mga cytokines. Itong macrophage mo. Basta yung part ng immune cell mo. Tapos yung cytokines na yun can cause fever. For instance, interleukin-1 yung nirelease. It can cause fever. Tandaan, interleukin-1 is also called leukocyte pyrogen or endogenous pyrogen. Tandaan mo yun, lalabas sa exam. Interleukin-1. Interleukin-1 has also been proposed to cause fever by inducing prostaglandin E2. Lalabas sa exam E2. Okay? So si interleukin-1, bukod sa nagkakos ng fever siya, ginagatungan pa niya, no? Nagpapataas din siya ng prostaglandin E2. Yan. Which acts in the hypothalamus to elicit the fever reaction. Si PGE2, nakita nyo sa video kanina, mas lalo. No? Titrick niya si hypothalamus. Tataas yung set point. When prostaglandin formation is blocked by drugs, kunyari, uminom ka ng aspirin or whatever, ini-inhibit na yung prostaglandin production. Bababa yung fever mo. Okay? Ano pa? Drugs that reduce fever are called antipyretics. Gulit may bacteria ka na nagsekret ng pyrogen. Si pyrogen ay nag-cause ng interleukin-1, alpha and beta production. Okay? It can lead to increased prostaglandin E2 secretion. Pag nangyari yan, si PGE2, lolokohin niya si hypothalamus. Itataas na yung set point sa hypothalamus. Causing heat-generating mechanisms. Niloko niya Ngayon, if you're gonna take a drug that will block prostaglandin synthesis, malalays ang fever mo. Okay? If dahil dito sa pyrogen, etc. Aspirin, inhibit cyclooxygenase, so wala kang prostaglandin. Steroids, inhibit yung lola ng mga prostaglandin, arachidonic acid. So, kakalma din. Wala kang fever. Okay? PGE2, tandaan mo si PGE2, bakit bad? Increases the set point temperature. Tandaan. Niloloko niya si hypothalamus. What's your answer here in the chat box? May something na nag-produce ng fever mo. What will happen to you? Mainit ka. Chat box. Post test tayo. Nang sumasagot. Pyrogens or pathogens that produce fever cause decreased production of interleukin-1. Bababa ang interleukin-1 nyo. Diba tumataas nga sila? Okay. Decreased set point. Diba may prostaglandin E2 pa, lolokohin niya sa hypothalamus, tataas yung set point. Okay. Nilalagnat ka. Mainit. So, ang gusto mong gawin, magpalamig. Dalawa dyan yung magpalamig. Vasodilation, may cooling effect yan. Shivering, magpuproduce rin ng heat pag nangatog. Which one? Shivering o vasodilation? Pinag-usapan natin kanina, most potent. Nobody got the correct answer. Correct answer is C, shivering. Okay? Dok, pwede naman to pero choose the best answer. Shivering nga yung most potent, di ba? For heat loss sa adults. Okay. Fever caused by brain lesion. But iba, wala namang infection pero nilalagnat. No? Yung mga may patient na may tumor sa utak. So when a brain surgeon, neurosurgeon operates in the region of the hypothalamus, severe fever almost always occurs. Hypothermia rarely occurs. Kasi ginigil mo si yung part na hypothalamus. Anyway. Ang point lang nito, nag-experiment kasi sila. Compression of the hypothalamus by brain tumor can cause prolonged high temperature. Okay? Makikita mo yun sa mga bata na may neuroblastoma, etc. Nilalagnat sila. Kasi may tumor doon, tas nadaganan si hypothalamus. Pag nadaganan siya, it will cause prolonged high temperature. So, lalagnatin. Nilalagnat usually more than hypothermia. Tandaan na. Febrile condition, chills. Nabanggit na natin ito kanina eh. Alam niyo na yan. Crisis or flush. Ito hindi pa. So here, there's a sudden change of events in a febrile state. Removal of high temp causative factor. Set point will be reduced to a lower value. In this instance, the body temperature is still 39, but the hypothalamus is attempting to regulate to 37 degrees Celsius. Analogous to excessive heating of the anterior preoptic area, intense sweating, and hot skin due to vasodilation. Ma'am, pangit ng ginawang slide niya, no? Pag sobrang init, sobrang init ng body mo, halos lahat ng vessels mo sa skin nag-vasodilate. Pag vasodilated yan, dami mong dugo na nandyan lang sa ilalim ng balat mo, na waiting for them to be cooled off. Okay? Lumamig. Yun lang, kaya nagpa-flush. Okay? Ito wala sa slides, kakalagay ko lang kanina. Heat exhaustion refers to excessive sweating that decreases BP and causes syncope. Pag heat exhaustion ka, sobrang dami mong, malamang, una-una mainit. So kapag mainit, ang gagawin, magpapawis. Pag sobrang dami mong pinawis, tapos hindi ka umiinom, babagsak BP mo. Okay, tapos pwede ka mawala ng malay. Bumagsak ang BP. Ba't babagsak ang BP? Ang dami mong fluids na nawala, yung blood mo, may fluid din, di ba? So, babagsak ang BP mo. Then, mawala ng malay kasi, decrease ang blood flow sa brain. Tandaan nyo na, heat exhaustion. So, hydrate. Pag nagganyan, pag may hypotensive na patient, itaas nyo yung legs. Kasi di ba may mga veins doon, capacitance vessel ang legs. Taas mo yung legs, baba yung katawan, para yung dugo na naipon sa legs pumunta sa critical organs. Heat stroke naman refers to high body temp that causes tissue damage. Sweating is impaired, which further increases temperature and may be lethal. Ito na. Si heat exhaustion, bumagsak lang BP. Ang heat stroke, na-damage na yung tissue mo. Naluto na sa loob, ang init eh. Tapos hindi ka pa nagsasweat. Heat stroke na yan, ha? Sweating is impaired. So wala ka mechanism to decrease your heat in the body. Hypothermia, sobrang lamig naman to. Alamin nyo ang symptoms ng heat exhaustion versus heat stroke. Uy, na-heat stroke siya. Versus, heat exhaustion yan. Okay? Ito, sobrang daming pawis. Bagsak ang BP. Okay? Si heat stroke, naluto na yung organs. Unconscious na rin siya. Okay? Kasi hindi siya nagpapawis. Malignant hyperthermia, lumabas sa boards. Tandaan, this one is due to overexcitation of skeletal muscles due to defective ryanodine receptors. Yung sarcoplasmic reticulum mo, labas ng calcium. Okay? Diba ito parang bangko. Nasa muscle tayo skeletal muscle. So for your muscle to contract, kailangan ng calcium. Yung calcium nakatago sa SR. Sa malignant hyperthermia, dahil binigyan ka ng mga ganto ng anesthesiologist mo, halothane, etc., lumabas yung calcium. Na magagamit na for contraction. Pag nagko-contract yung muscle mo, parang nangangatog, mainit. Okay, so that's malignant hyperthermia. Triggers include mga anesthetics mo na inhaled. Succinylcholine, heat stress, vigorous exercise. Treatment, ang bibigay mo dyan, dantrolene. Again, sa malignant hyperthermia, may hinit-hit ka such that ang daming calcium na lumabas sa imbakan, sa sarcoplasmic reticulum. Yung calcium na yon magagamit for skeletal muscle contraction. Imagine mo, contract muscle mo, mag-generate ng heat yun. Okay? Kaya nga hyperthermia eh. Ang ibibigay mo dyan, since calcium yung dumami, i-block mo tong ryanodine receptor para hindi na makalabas si calcium. Okay? Dantrolene, calcium channel ryanodine receptor blocker, and muscle relaxant. Ayan. Heat stroke, katawan mo, 40 to 42 na. Ito yung mga symptoms. Loss of consciousness, tandaan na. Wala ng malay, nagde-delirium na rin. Nawalan sila ng malay if the body temp is not decreased. This is exacerbated by circulatory shock, bumagsak ang BP, dahil dami ng walang fluids and electrolytes. Okay. Heat stroke. So, take note of the treatment. Anong gagawin mo kung may na-heat stroke dyan? Lagay mo siya sa cold water bath. Because cold water bath often induces uncontrollable shivering. With a considerable increase in the rate of heat production. So, ano pa? Sponge or spray cooling of the skin. Effective yun for rapidly decreasing the body temperature. Punasan mo ng malamig. Okay. Harmful effects of high temperature. Okay lang ba? Mainit yung katawan mo. Instead na 37, laging 45 degrees Celsius. Maluluto yung proteins mo dun. Di ba? Ano pa? Ano itsura ng someone na namatay due to hyperpyrexia? Ang dami nagputukan yung mga blood vessels niya. Local hemorrhages, parenchymatous degeneration of cells, nasira na yung mga cells. Nasira din ng neurons. Tandaan, pag namatay yung neurons, hindi na sila mare-replace. Except for olfactory neurons. May tatanong natin. Mag-generate ang olfactory neurons mo. Ano pa? Damage din ng liver, kidneys. Naluto sila eh. May mga proteins yung mga yan. Denatured lahat. Acclimatization to heat. Pagsanay mo. Extremely important to acclimatize people to heat. Temperature approaches body temp and the humidity approaches 100 degrees. Kung soldier ka, duty ka sa tropics, kung nagtatrabaho ka sa minahan, sa South Africa, kailangan mo mag-acclimatize bago ka ipadala doon. So, ano mo muna si hypothalamus? Masahiin mo, hypothalamus, ganito adjust natin yung set point kasi magtatrabaho ako sa ganito. Okay? So if the person is exposed to heat for several hours every day while performing heavy workload, it will develop increased tolerance to hot and humid conditions in 1 to 3 weeks. 1 to 3 weeks. Okay? Ano pa? Kung hindi mo kaya, di magsuot ka ng proper protective equipment. Kung hindi mo kaya mag-acclimatize. The last two effects result from increased secretion of aldosterone by the adrenal gland. Ayan. Anong mangyayari pag nag-acclimatize ka? There will be twofold increase in maximum rate of sweating, increase in plasma volume, diminished loss of salt in the sweat and urine. Okay. So, namatay si Jack. Exposure of the body to extreme cold. Paano pag hindi mo na-treat yan? Kunyari, nag-freeze yung kaklase mo, sobrang lamig. I-defrost ba natin yan? Lagay natin sa oven? Hindi. Dapat dahan-dahan. Okay? Unless treated immediately, a person exposed to ice water for 20 to 30 minutes ordinarily dies because of heart standstill or heart fibrillation. Cardiac ang ikakamatay nila. Ang body temp nito naging 25 degrees. Ang normal 37. Denatured na naman yung enzymes mo dyan. If warmed rapidly by the application of external heat, the person's life can often be saved. True or false? Tatanong ko sa exam. Question mark yan eh. If warmed rapidly, anong mangyayari? Sa Korea, sobrang lamig, tapos wala masyadong proper protective equipment. Pagtanggal, sobrang pula na ng ilong ko, ng tenga ko. Yung iba nga daw, pagtanggal ng mask, natanggal na din yung tenga, nag-frostbite na. So be careful, ha? And kapag nag-hypothermia yung patient, tatanong natin sa exam, dapat ba mabilis natin siyang initin or gradual? Okay. Sige. Loss of temperature regulation at low temperatures. Pag sobrang lamig, bibigay na si hypothalamus. Okay? Ganun lang. Especially when the body temp is less than 34. Kaya si Jack, hindi na siya nag-generate ng heat. Sobrang lamig na bumigay na yung hypothalamus niya. Yun lang. Sleepiness also develops then coma, which depresses CNS. So, inantok si Jack, na-comatose siya. Hindi na siya nag-adjust. Sobrang lamig. Wala nang shivering. Frostbite. This occurs when the body is exposed to extremely low temperatures, sobrang lamig. surface areas ng katawan mo can freeze. Ang tawag doon frostbite. Sa nangyayari? Sa lobes ng ears, sa digits ng hands and feet. Kaya nga may earmuff eh. Pag pupunta ka sa malamig na lugar, tsaka may gloves. Manipis kasi doon. Wala masyadong fat dito sa, sa earlobe mo. Yan. And there can be extensive formation of ice crystals which can lead to permanent damage. Yung blood vessel mo doon, sira na. Okay. Gangrene also, often follows. So ito mo siya. Frostbitten areas must be removed surgically. Cold-induced vasodilation is the final protection against frostbite. Ano mangyayari pag nasa Mount Everest ka, sobrang lamig? So when the temperature of tissue falls almost to freezing, smooth muscle in the vascular wall becomes paralyzed and vasodilation occurs. Malamig na, nag-vasodilate ka pa. Bumigay talaga. Okay? Tanda na, vasodilation, sweating, pampalamig yun. So this one often manifested by skin flush. It's a mechanism that can help prevent frostbite by delivering warm blood to the skin. Pero last sword. It's far less developed in humans than in most animals that live in the cold all the time. Artificial hypothermia. Gagawin mo sa frozen classmate mo. So first, how to decrease the temperature of a person. Bigyan mo muna ng sedatives para ma-depress si hypothalamus. Ikaw na magkocontrol hindi na si hypothalamus. Cool the person with ice or cooling blankets until the temperature falls. Then, temperature can be maintained below 32 for several days to a week by continual sprinkling of cool water or alcohol on the body. Yan. Kung gusto mo siyang subject to artificial hypothermia, hindi mo i-freezer agad. A days or week. Artificial cooling has been used during heart surgery to stop the heart artificially for many minutes at a time. Cooling to this extent does not cause tissue damage. Okay, slows the heart and greatly depresses cell metabolism. Cells can survive 30 minutes to more than an hour without blood flow during the surgical procedure. Yung cells ng heart yung brain, wala lang blood supply for a few minutes, yari. Pag brain.